Hey, everybody. We are going to talk today about such an important issue for aging well, aging healthy, and that is methylation and inflammation. So, if you're tuning in, you are listening to some crucial information that could really help you in achieving optimal health, and that is methylation and this inflammation that is the root cause of so many chronic diseases, and that can be something that you can do something about, and that is so important. So methylation is a process in the body. Let's first understand what a methyl group is, where this process is named after. So a methyl group is a carbon and three hydrogens, CH3, and that is what the body uses for many different reactions, and how the body changes chemicals within it for its own benefit. It exchanges a carbon and these hydrogens. So, this process is known as methylation. It occurs in every cell. Normally, everything is just fine. But what happens is, because this process is responsible for our neurotransmitters, such as norepinephrine and serotonin. It's also responsible for the way we detoxify from our toxins in the environment, because it is involved with sulfation, which is another process attached to methylation, which helps us to remove and detoxify, remove chemicals, toxins. So you see, detoxification, neurotransmitters, and the third part, DNA synthesis, how our DNA is replicated, is an essential process of methylation. Now, if all of this is being extra taxed on the body, there's more toxins coming into our body, we're stressed, so there's more epinephrine or adrenaline due to stress, and there are more insults to our DNA, like a lot of uh, oxidation going on, lots of oxidative stress. This all contributes. Now the body has to undergo that process of methylation more so. Then there's this other angle of methylation where there's these genetic changes, not so much of a genetic change like blue eyes and brown eyes, but subtle genetic changes that normally doesn't express itself except when this system of methylation is being overused, and there's not enough nutrition or nutrients to support it. And this is the key for really optimizing methylation. Methylation should not be over methylated. In other words, we don't want to push it too much where it's over methylating. That can be a problem, or under methylation as well. So there's a perfect range for each individual based on so many factors, because everyone's neurotransmitters are acting and reacting differently. Everyone's detoxification system and the toxins that they encounter are so completely different. And what we do in our lives as far as oxidative stress is so different. And that's why each one of us has a unique methylation status. Now, methylation requires certain nutrients that are really important to support this process. But how do you know if this process is impaired in some ways? Well, there are genetic tests that you can check to see if there's what's called a single nucleotide polymorphism, which is this subtle change that makes methylation not function as well in this environment, because this change genetically had at some point in evolution a beneficial purpose, but at this point, that change is now causing more harm than good, because there are more toxins. We're not calming our neurotransmitters as much, and we're creating more oxidation for our DNA. These are three, as I mentioned before, contributors, or it ramps up this methylation process. And so, and also, we're not really eating these foods that are very rich in these nutrients that support methylation. So, what are some of these nutrients? Well, Vitamin B12 and folate are key in this methylation process, as well as riboflavin, that's vitamin B2, and choline. Choline is a nutrient that is so essential that many supplements don't contain enough of it, actually, and we don't certainly have enough of it in our diet. Foods such as it's highest in egg yolks and liver and dairy products, meat, and fish. It's also available in small amounts in some beans, some vegetables, but really the largest amounts of choline is going to be found in animal foods, eggs and dairy and meat. And really, if we look at the long-term benefits of choline, we see acetylcholine, which is a very important neurotransmitter, is essential for brain health. In fact, these anticholinergic, which means anticholine medications, have a purpose and a use for short-term use, but over the long term, there's a question if that can be a contributing factor to cognitive decline. And so, therefore, some of the medications are cholinesterase inhibitors, enzymes inhibitors. So, therefore, it's trying to allow choline to be sustained more in the brain. So, again, emphasizing the importance of that nutrient, choline, but especially important in this methylation process. Here at South Florida Integrative Health Center, we do advanced blood testing for markers such as homocysteine, SAMe, which is another process in methylation, which we can check in the blood if it's low. That's S-adenyl methionine, that we can check those levels, and other factors that we can check whether the body is really methylating properly. And then we support it through these nutrients and these foods. Very, very important. Inflammation then is going to be increased if methylation is not optimized. Again, it's very important to measure inflammation. Again, so many markers of inflammation, elevated uric acid or ferritin and C-reactive protein are just some of the markers that really indicate inflammation. And again, it's important to know the root cause of inflammation. Is it environmental toxicities, nutrient insufficiencies, and other reasons why there can be inflammation, including one of the most important reasons we're seeing so much is this gut overgrowth of gut bacteria, not the good bacteria that we call probiotics, but these neutral, or really the word we use is commensurate or opportunistic. They have a very important role to play in our gut, but when they overgrow, based on what makes them overgrow is we take acid suppressing medications, we take antibiotics, we take anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen or leaves, and that does disturb the gut lining. Other reasons too can really contribute to this overgrowth of bacteria, including poorly digesting food. And that is because of a lack of sufficient amount of enzymes in some cases, or low hydrochloric acid, hypochlorhydria. Those are some of the contributing causes for why these bacteria overgrow. It's important to measure that using advanced testing, the types of bacteria that are overgrowing, and are there enough sufficient enzymes in the gut. And as well, again, for methylation, those are typically blood tests, but very important to be optimizing methylation and inflammation. If you have any other questions about that, reach out to us here at South Florida Integrative Health Center. There's our website, www.sfihc.com. That stands for South Florida Integrative Health Center.com. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with this Facebook Live, and hope you learned something very interesting. Remember, food first, food as medicine. And again, we have to support these systems in the body through nutrients, through foods, and we then can balance our lives and create optimal health. So please share and like this, comment below, and we'll respond back to you. Everyone have a very happy and healthy day.